I'm sure that everybody's gonna agree with today's video's ranking and nobody's gonna have any comments down below hating on it. Obviously, I'm just kidding. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? I'm going to be ranking every team's duo. So yeah, I have it written down here. We're going 30-1. It's pretty much every team's two best players, how I think they operate going up against other teams' duos. Do they have past success in the playoffs, in the regular season? Do they stay healthy? Do they play well off each other? I'm fairly confident about the bottom part of this and the top part, but once you're in the middle, there's so many duos where it's like, all right, maybe they're better than them, maybe they're better than them. So if there's somebody at like 16 that you think should be at 12, like I could perfectly be okay with that. But you know what, I'm gonna stand by my list. Let me know down below what you disagree with, because I know that you're probably gonna disagree with something. Maybe drop a like on this video, give me props for doing this, because I think I'm going into a war zone with this video. And yeah, we can get into the video. So here's me ranking every NBA duo from 30-1. So to start off at 30, we have Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets. The Rockets have not had much success over the last two seasons since KPJ and Green have been on their team. They're the worst team in the NBA this season. I don't think they've been well coached, but yeah, they're just the worst duo in the league, in my opinion, just going up against all other 29 duos. At 29, we have Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson. I like these players individually, but it has not resulted in team success. Now, the Spurs have been rebuilding. They traded DeJounte Murray in the offseason. It's not their fault, but hey, I'm putting team success a lot into this. I'm taking into account that they haven't really had that in San Antonio. Like I said, I like both these players individually. I like their potential, but they're coming in at number 29 in the duo rankings. At 28, we have Bojan Bogdanovic and Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons. This is Cade's second year, and he is missing most of the season, so they're coming in pretty low. So we have Bojan here. I was going to have Saddiq Bey with Bojan, but Bey did get traded to Atlanta at the deadline. And man, oh man, if Bojan wasn't on this team, they'd probably be below San Antonio. Coming in at number 27, we have LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier of the Charlotte Hornets. LaMelo Ball has been playing better as of late in real life, but it is not resulting into wins for the Charlotte Hornets. They're still one of the worst teams in the NBA this season. Terry Rozier is one of the more underrated players in the league still, in my opinion. And while the Hornets did make the play-in tournament last season, this year, they're not doing so hot. And as a duo, they're not too great, so they're coming in at number 27. At number 25, we have Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. Now, the Magic got off to a pretty rough start, but they've been a lot better as of late. And if I was ranking this based off potential, they'd be in the top 10, but unfortunately this is just right now, and Banchero and Wagner aren't ready yet to take on kind of the rest of the NBA. And even though Wagner's going to be so high up into top 25 under 25 list next year, and Banchero's going to win Rookie of the Year, if you ask me at this time next year to rank them, I think they would be in the top 20 for sure. Not sure if I said they were 25, but they were 26. Coming in number 25, we have Lauri Markkanen and Jordan Clarkson. Markkanen is an all-star this season, but as a duo, they're probably towards the end of the NBA. They got off to a really hot start this season, and I don't think Markkanen and Clarkson are going to carry them into a true playoff spot in the Western Conference. They might end up in the play-in tournament, but towards the bottom of it. Right now, as I'm recording this, they are the 11th seed, and it's crazy that they are this low. There's just so much talent in the NBA that, yeah, they're in at 25. At 24, we have Bradley Beal, and I went with Kyle Kuzma over Kristaps Porzingis. This is Kuzma playing the best basketball of his career. Bradley Beal is still playing at a solid level, and they aren't even a top 8 team in the Eastern Conference, so they're going to end up at 24 in my list. At 23, we have a fairly new duo, so I still want to watch them play, and then I could raise them up. We have Nick Claxton and Mikal Bridges of the Brooklyn Nets. If we're basing these rankings just off defensive play, they'd be in the top 5. But yeah, they're coming in at number 23 on this list. Like I said, like this whole Nets team is turned over, so you could have thrown Spencer Dinwiddie or Ben Simmons in here. Well, if you threw in Ben Simmons, they'd definitely be towards the bottom. But I went with Bridges and I went with Claxton. It really wouldn't change too much if you subbed out one of them for Dinwiddie. And they've been all right so far, and they continue to get better. I'd raise them up the rankings. At 22, we have the Indiana Pacers with Tyrese Haliburton and Miles Turner. Haliburton was an all-star this year. Miles Turner is still playing really good basketball. The roster around them isn't great, and they've kind of been falling off as of late after a hot start to the season, but I think if you just surrounded them with just a little bit more talent, they'd be a playoff team in the Eastern Conference. So I think that they will be in that conversation next year. At 21, I have Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. This really isn't on Brandon Ingram too much. It's on Zion. Now, if Zion was fully healthy and Ingram was fully healthy, they'd be much higher on this list. But I can't say that because this is Zion's 4th year and he's gotten injured again. He might miss most of the regular season left in the year, and this team hasn't played, or excuse me, Ingram and Zion haven't played together in the playoffs yet because Zion was hurt last year. And it's crazy. I'm saying that Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram, the duo they are at 21st in the league, but I really can't put them any higher. At 21, 20, we have Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. They were good last year. They made the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. They're definitely taking a step back this year. I would see them dropping a little bit with DeRozan getting up there in age and Zach LaVine putting a little bit more miles on his knees. At 19, I have Damian Lillard and Jeremy Grant. Wow, Damian Lillard is really holding up this duo. I keep saying this, but Damian Lillard having one of the more low-key 30-plus point per game scoring seasons. And Jeremy Grant is having one of the better seasons of his career as well in a contract year. We'll see if the Blazers end up making the play-in tournament at year's end. I don't think I could put them any higher. You can definitely make a good argument for putting them lower on this list. So Damian Grant were 19. At 18, we have Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle of the New York Knicks. They had one All-Star in Randle. Probably should have had two with Brunson making it as well. Brunson has been one of the best players since January 1st. And their first year as a duo, they are playing pretty well. They are the 6th seed as I'm recording this in the Eastern Conference. They're 6 games above 500. They're both, in my opinion, having the best seasons of their career. Well, this is obvious for Jalen Brunson. I do think Randle is topping his 2021 season so far. So yeah, I don't want to be biased and put them any higher since I am a Knicks fan, but hey, let me know. Would you put Brunson and Randle higher on this list? At 17, we have Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. It's their first year together. DeJounte Murray's having a solid season in a whole new position, in a whole new system in Atlanta playing next to Trae Young. So I think as they get more experience together, they could move up higher on this list. At 16, we have Shea and Giddey, man. Their potential is so high. They could end up at top 5 on this ranking one day. They're getting better and better each and every game. They're growing as a duo. I just love this duo. I might be ranking them just a tad bit high over some of the teams below them, but I can't help myself. Like, I just love watching Shea and Giddey play together. All right, so we've entered the top 15. At 15, I have Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. They did make the playoffs last season. It's looking like they're going to make it this year, but Cat gets hurt all the time, so it's really hard to rank them because they have all the talent in the world. But Cat is like one of the more injury-prone players in the league, I feel like, this past 3 seasons, or at least since Anthony Edwards entered the league. At 14, we have De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, one of my favorite duos in the league. Their first full season together after getting acquired last year on the deadline. Sabonis to Sacramento from Indiana. They've been great. They're one of the better teams in the Western Conference. Hey, if they win a playoff series, I'd put them in the top 10. All right, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself because the top 10 is like really good. At 13, we have Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, not having the best season this year, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've been great as a duo the past couple of years. Now, while they weren't the best players on the team when it happened, but they did win a championship together, and they made the playoffs a few times since that happened. Fred's not having the greatest year. Siakam is having one of the better years of his career statistically, though. They were a hard one to rank, so I put them at 13. I could definitely see a reason for them being lower. At number 12, we have Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. It is their first season together, but you could tell that it is special. I end up going with Garland over Allen or Mobley. We know how good these players are individually, and if they just keep it up, yeah, they're going to be in the top 10 sooner than later. At number 11, I went with Luka and Kyrie. We've seen a little bit of this duo so far. I'm very intrigued on how it's going to work in the playoffs, both offensively with sharing the ball and defensively as well, going up against other guards that are great offensively. They're a duo that can be much higher. I just want to give it some time since Kyrie just got traded to Dallas. At number 10, I'm going with Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. The Grizzlies are one of the better teams in the Western Conference. Ja Morant is going to get some MVP votes. Jaren Jackson Jr. might win Defensive Player of the Year. They were one of the better teams in the Western Conference last year, being the 2 seed at year's end, and they could end up as the 1 seed in the Western Conference this year. At number 9, we have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Now, I know they haven't played a game together yet, and if you wanted to say Chris Paul and Devin Booker, I'd probably even put them higher since they went to an NBA Finals 2 seasons ago. But we know that this duo of KD and Booker has to be special, right? One of the best players of all time in Kevin Durant, teaming up with one of the best shooting guards, you could say the best shooting guard in the NBA in Devin Booker. It's gonna work out, right? At number 8, we have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. It's crazy that these guys have not made it to the Western Conference Finals together because Kawhi did get hurt in 2021. It was all up to Paul George against the Phoenix Suns. They had a disappointment bubble year, losing to the Nuggets, blowing a 3-1 lead. Last year, Kawhi was hurt. They didn't make it out of the play-in tournament. So yeah, they've had their injuries and definitely have been disappointing, but they've had their regular season success. And I think if they're fully healthy this year, they can make a run at winning the NBA Finals. At number 7, we have Joel Embiid and James Harden. This is their first full season together. The Sixers have been great. Harden has been one of the best passers in the league this year. He probably should be an all-star. We'll see if he makes it if Jaylen Brown doesn't play or if Joel Embiid doesn't play. And honestly, if you threw them in the Western Conference, they'd be one of the best teams there too. So yeah, they're coming in at number 7. They were a tough one to rank also. At number 6, I have Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. This is probably one of the longest tenured duos in this ranking, and they've had their fair share of success. They made it to a Western Conference Finals in 2020. Jamal Murray is back and healthy this season, and they're the 1 seed in the Western Conference. Jokic is playing at an MVP level. Murray is playing way better than I thought he was, because I thought it was going to be like a little bit of a rehab year. You know, these players after these leg injuries don't really come back and be so good right away, and Murray's had his great games this year. At number 5, we have Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. They made it to 2 Eastern Conference Finals in the last 3 years. They lost in the NBA Finals in the bubble against the Lakers. They play so well with each other. I don't think I could put them any lower, because a lot of these players below them like aren't as tenured like as Jimmy and Bam, and it's crazy because Bam entered the league in 2017 and Jimmy didn't even join the Heat since 2019. But if you look into my top 15, Fox and Sabonis, fairly new duo. Luka and Kyrie, new duo. KD and Booker, Harden and Embiid. So yeah, I'm giving you some points for some longevity. At number 4, we have LeBron and AD. And I know, they won a championship a few years ago, but they haven't done much since 2020. Now in 2021, they had a good season. They were injured, and then they ended up losing in the first round against the Suns. AD played that series hurt. Then last year, they traded for Russell Westbrook. It was an abysmal season. And this year, while AD has had his injuries, and LeBron as well, they've been disappointing. Now, I'm not hating on them. I have them ranked number 4, but that's why I don't have them in the top 3, just because of what has been done as of late. I'm giving them props for 2020, but we haven't seen much really since then. At number 3, we have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Yes, the reigning NBA champion duo. I went with Klay over Wiggins or Draymond or Poole. And honestly, you could make a point for them at 2. I don't think I would have put them at 1, but definitely you could make a point at 2. I mean, for the past couple seasons, like 2020 was a mess, 2021 was a mess, but last year they won it all. So like I could definitely not put them any bit lower because of their historical significance as a duo, the greatest shooting duo of all time. They've won 4 championships together, but I'm doing this right now in the moment. You definitely cannot put them any lower. You could put them at 1 or 2, and I'm okay with it. At number 2, we have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, probably the most talented duo, like before the Suns got Kevin Durant and maybe before the Mavericks got Kyrie Irving. Like this duo, like on both ends of the floor is incredible. They were in the NBA Finals last year. They're the favorite to win it all this year. Tatum's in the MVP conversation. Jaylen Brown maybe should have been an all-star starter. They're both incredible together. That's why I put them over the Warriors, just because like right now they're a better like talented duo, and I think they play so well together. It would have felt wrong putting them lower than 2. And at number 1, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, and it's weird. Like, I didn't really know to put Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton. I put down Drew Holiday just because Middleton's been hurt and Holiday's been much better this season. But yeah, the Bucks got Drew Holiday in the 2020 offseason. The year later in 2021, they won it all. You could have said last year they would have been in that conversation as well. They could have beat Boston if Chris Middleton wasn't hurt. And they currently have the second highest odds to win it all behind Boston, and they've missed Middleton for some parts of the season. Giannis was an all-star starter. Drew Holiday was also an all-star, one of the better defensive guards in the league. And you're looking at the past 2 seasons and this year success-wise, they're right up there. Giannis is one of the better players in the NBA. Drew Holiday probably still one of the more underrated players in the NBA. They're my number 1 duo. So yeah, that ranking was tough, man. I sat here in my room for hours trying to construct this list, and no matter what I came up with, I probably wasn't going to be happy with at the end. So let me know, what do you agree with? What do you disagree with in the comments below? Also, I did bring back my NFL channel. Link to that is in the description. Me and a couple buddies, we're going to be making kind of like a long form podcast on there. We're going to be doing shorts, shorter style videos. Link in the description. It's called Triple Option. I'd really appreciate it if you came out there, dropped a like. Like, that'd mean a lot to me. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.